Hey B-Nips, welcome back to my channel. The last video I made was a beginner's guide to Conan Exiles, and this video is pretty much a continuation of that, just a little bit more advanced. Let's say your friends invited you to play Conan, and you want to play but you don't want to be the wimpiest guy in the clan. This is the video for you. You're going to learn some things that will make you a valuable member of the clan, and also some things that your clanmates may not know yet. So we'll call this video a quick guide to Conan Exiles. First thing you're going to want to do is to move out of the newbie area. It is so easy to waste an insane amount of time on newbie beach. So as soon as you can, pack enough materials for 2 1x1s and make your way to Seppermeru. So the materials that you should have are 2 doors, 2 foundations, 2 ceilings, 2 door frames, and 6 walls, so you can enclose yourself. That's just in case you hit a sandstorm on the way to Seppermeru. I'm going to breeze through. You're basically going to want to go east on the map, and I'll kind of show you where. You're going to want to go just right here. So Seppermeru is that blue or purplish kind of starfish shape, and we are right there where the cursor is. So let's see, right there. So that's us. We're going to want to make our way around. That's pretty much the fastest and easiest way to get there. So I'm going to breeze through it so that you know what to expect. And I'm going to speed this up so that you just have a quick visual of what you're going to see on your way over there. It's really easy. You really don't need anything pretty much other than a sword to defend yourself and the 1x1 building materials in case you get caught up in a sandstorm. You don't really need a sandstorm mask as long as you have a shelter. They're coming for me. You don't really need a sandstorm mask as long as you've got a shelter to stow away in until the sandstorm passes. So the first thing we're going to pass is this this little NPC encampment. And this is the first dungeon that is on your journey points. That is called the Dregs downstairs, and the boss that's in there is a snake called the Abyssal Remnant. It's actually a lot of fun. It was the first dungeon that I ever did. Make sure that you go in with a ton of arrows. I'm not kidding, no less than 200 arrows. And make sure that you go in with the partner. Unless you can do it with a shield, it'll just be a lot faster if you take a partner with you and you each have at least 200 arrows. So keep running. On your way over here, you're going to see this green wall. Make sure that you don't go past this green wall, because if you do go past it, you will die and your body will lay on the other side and you will not be able to get your items back. Pretty much anything that you had on you when you cross that wall is going to be gone forever. Just keep on running with this green wall to the left side of you and this red sand to the right side of you. You get a journey point for discovering that, so on your way to Seppermeru, go ahead and trot close to that and get your journey point out of the way. Remember, your journey points are the fastest way to level up, so go ahead and knock those out as soon as you can. These rocks that you see right here, the ones that have a grayish tone, that's metal. There's a ton of it in Seppermeru. I wouldn't bother collecting it right now on your way to Seppermeru just because it'll encumber you and you'll be slow. So this area that we're passing right now has a ton of branches. You're going to want to remember that in one of the tips that I'm going to show you guys later on. Branches and dry wood. You're going to definitely need a ton of dry wood as well, depending on what building material you're going to use. So we're almost there. As you can see, it was a quick run, and it's not dangerous at all, except for that rhino. You want to stay away from that rhino. The scorpions are also pretty bad at an early level if you get poisoned, but as long as you're running, you don't really have to worry about them. So we're pretty much here. This is the city of Seppermeru. To keep running this way along the outside of the city of Seppermeru with the Seppermeru walls to my left, and I'm just running straight down, and I'm going to take you guys to where I decided to make my base. So this building that you see coming up is one of my buildings. It is not my base, but it is where I tame my thralls. And that up there is my base. Okay. Now, once we get to the city, the first thing that we want to do is attune our bracelet to the obelisk that is around here. So the reason we want to attune to obelisk is there's a few key obelisks around the map. I will link a map to them down below. And once you build a map room, you can teleport to the different obelisks along the map. You cannot teleport back to your map room, but it still saves a lot of time to be able to teleport to the different obelisks along the map. So we're just going to keep on running. These skeletons are pretty beefy, so I wouldn't recommend that you take them on when you're a beginner. It's actually not that hard. It really depends on how early on, like if you're fighting with a stone sword, it's not really going to be an easy fight for you at all. So I recommend to stay away from them until you've kind of built a bed and you've got a place to spawn around here. Okay, so this is the obelisk, and we're going to attune to it as quickly as we can. The reason we want to attune to the obelisk quickly is, as you can see up in the health bar and in the stamina bar, there is a section to the right that is getting taken up by a pink bar. So that pink bar is called corruption. So corruption basically makes your stamina pool and your health pool smaller. Whatever the red bar whatever space the red bar has taken up basically is health and stamina that you won't be able to use. So the only way we can get rid of that is by standing in front of a dancer, which is cool. There's a dancer inside of the city. So I'll go ahead and show you guys where that is and show you how to get rid of corruption. So we're going to want to go in through this entrance. Go ahead and run straight down. Turn right here, past this little water area. You're going to want to turn into here. This is Conan. Go ahead and talk to him. It's one of your journey steps, so do that as soon as you can. And these are the dancers, so standing in front of the dancers will get rid of the corruption. When you fight a dancer, you want to be careful because they most likely have daggers, and daggers cause a stacking effect on your health called bleed, which can be stacked an infinite amount of times, and it basically just drains your health really quickly, so be careful. Alright, so you've made it to Sepramero. The next thing you want to be able to do is be able to craft your Tier 2 and Tier 3 building materials. In order to do that, we're going to have to harvest materials. So I'll show you guys the most efficient way to do that. Let me go ahead and take you guys to my base. Now we're going to want to gather materials, but before we do that, we're going to want to alter our build with a yellow lotus potion. Basically, all we need for that is yellow lotus flowers, and we craft it in the Fireball Cauldron. So a build is a combination of our attribute points that we choose and the armor that we choose to wear, since different pieces of armor can add different points to our attributes. So I'm going to take this yellow lotus potion. And the yellow lotus potion is going to erase your attributes and your feats, so you're going to have to relearn your feats as well. So basically early on, the armor that you can use for harvesting is the light armor, because each piece of light armor will add a point to your encumbrance. So I'm just going to change into my light armor right now. There we go. And as you can see, that pretty much almost got me to the first node of encumbrance. More important than encumbrance is going to be the survival node. The only time I've counted exactly how many hits it takes is in the Brimstone. Usually it takes 4 hits to smash down a Brimstone and collect all the materials from it, but when you have the second node, it only takes 2 and it's a lot faster. The node that we really want for harvesting is the 3rd node on survival. That's the efficient butchery node. That's basically going to help us getting any animal products that we need, whether that be hide, meat, or even the volatile gland from the lizards to help make fire orbs, and demon blood when we get demon blood from the different animals that you can get demon blood from. So we're going to want to put our points on survival. Make sure you get to the 3rd node. And be careful with this. You don't want to waste a yellow lotus potion by putting an extra point and then having to redo it because you don't have enough, especially early on when these points are like really rare and you want to use them with as efficiently as possible. So be careful when placing them down so that you don't have to redo it. So with encumbrance, since I can now, I'm going to go full encumbrance. The reason we want full encumbrance is when you have encumbrance filled, when you're fully encumbered, you can still run at full speed. Your stamina pool does degenerate a little bit faster, but you still have the option to run and fight. So you're not going to be, pretty much stranded if somebody or something attacks you while you're harvesting and you're fully encumbered. What I do with the rest of them is I usually put it into grit just so that I have, a little bit extra stamina if I do decide to run or fight. Okay. The next thing we're going to need for harvesting is going to be these repair kits. So you get these repair kits. I'll show you how to unlock them. We're going to have to unlock them anyways to craft it just because we've erased all of our attributes because the yellow lotus potion erases not only your attributes but your feats. So we're going to scroll down, and this right here, it just looks like the yellow one right there that I just popped over. That one. So that is it's called Apprentice Tinker. It makes it so that you can repair and patch armor, but you can also patch tools. So craft, when you're harvesting craft, I usually run around with like 10 of them. So once you have it unlocked, you just craft them at the blacksmith, and once you have it crafted, all you have to do is just go into your inventory, highlight the repair kit, and then apply it to the tool that you want to repair, and it'll repair it. The way that you use the repair kits is you have to make sure that you apply it to your weapon before it breaks, because if you do let the weapon break, then you can't use the repair kit and you've got to go back and use materials to repair your tool fully before you can use a repair kit on it again. So once you can make it to a full encumbrance build, you can basically harvest and harvest and harvest until you've got all the materials that you need, or until you run out of repair kits, and it is an insanely efficient way to harvest materials. After the Apprentice Tinker, you're going to want to add efficiency to your tool. So efficiency basically helps it so that your tools collect more. So instead of collecting, this is just a made up number, but instead of collecting 5, let's say you're collecting 10 instead. That's going to save you time. So we're going to have to unlock that as well. So now that we have the Apprentice Tinker unlocked, we're going to want to unlock efficiency so that we can add efficiency to your tools. Adding efficiency to your tools is exactly what it sounds like. It makes your tools more efficient, so it makes it so that they harvest more materials. So we're just going to want to go over to the interlocking swords tab and go all the way down on the bottom. And it's called Apprentice Weaponship. So Apprentice Weaponship unlocks all of these things that you see on the right. But the one that we want is called Tool Upgrade Kit, an assortment of upgrades to make tools more efficient. So remember, it's called Tool Upgrade Kit. Make sure that you unlock that. Both the repair kit and the efficiency kit are going to be crafted at the blacksmith's bench. So you're just going to want to scroll all the way down, and here it is. So this is the upgrade kit, and these little things that look like little books are the repair kits. So the upgrade kit is applied to your tools the same way that the repair kit is applied to your tools. You're also going to want to make sure that your tools are completely you and not damaged, because if your tools are damaged, you will not be able to apply it. So you're just going to go into your inventory, highlight the upgrade kit, and then apply it to your tool. And it's also a journey step, so that's awesome. You get that out of the way. So I'm going to show you guys all the materials that you need and where they are near separate mirrors. So the first thing is the yellow lotus flowers that I used to craft the yellow lotus potion. So we'll just go back down. So this is Seprameru right here. That is the entrance to Seprameru. And if we keep going down this way, there's a little oasis. And right along the edge of that oasis, there are yellow lotus flowers that grow. You can see them right there. So if you just use your sickle, you will harvest more of them than if you harvest them by hand. You only get like 3, so make sure you use your sickle. I know that with the star metal sickle and a efficiency, I usually get around 20, I think. The area that we passed earlier with the dry wood and branches is great because you're definitely going to need branches for a lot of things, and branches are really annoying to find, but when you can find an abundant amount on the floor, that is a great resource. You're just going to want to make sure that you don't pick them up with your hand. You're going to want to hit them with your hatchet, because if you pick them up with your hand, you only get 2, but if you hit them with the hatchet, you get... Ooh, I got 33. You'll get less because you don't have a star metal tool yet, but you will definitely get more than 2. The next item is metal. So pretty much all along the ridge of this mountain, you'll find metal. You've got metal, stone, and coal. The next item that there's an abundance of near Seprameru is brimstone. Brimstone you're going to need for pretty much everything. You're going to need it to make bombs, and you're going to need it to make steel. So you're going to want to run towards the obelisk. And as you can see over there to the left, there's going to be like this white lake. You're going to want to make sure that you craft a sandstorm mask before you go over there, because if you don't, there is noxious gas coming out of the lakes that will cause damage. But if you have your sandstorm mask, you're pretty much immune to that. So we're going to go over there, and I will show you guys where to get the brimstone. So we're going to keep running down around the obelisk. And that lake is where we get our brimstone. So we're here at the brimstone. These trees are not going to give us brimstone. What's going to give us brimstone is those little stalagmites that you see right there. They basically look like little cones coming out of the... They're like upside down icicles, basically. So put your sandstorm mask on. Get your star metal pick out and hit these, and as you can see, 66, that's a really good amount with the efficiency. From here, the next item that we're going to need is resin, which we'll need for insulated wood. As you can see on the map, we're just going to run straight north from here, and we're going to go into the woodsy area. There's a lot of materials in the woodsy area that we're going to need, and it's a really short walk from here. We're basically just going to run along the perimeter of this noxious gas lake and through these little red mountains. And these are the trees that give us resin. So, with this efficiency, with these trees, we got stuff. There's also a lot of branches on the floor here too, so you can also grab a crazy amount of branches here. The next material near Seprameru that you cannot live without is demon blood. I'm at the obelisk right now, and if you look forward, you see those red mountain ranges. You can harvest demon blood from these red demon rock monsters. I'll link a video down below exactly where to find them, but for now I'll just tell you that they're in these red rock formations. The next materials are silver and gold. So if we go through this back entrance through the city where the shrine is, where we entered from earlier on our initial run over to Seprameru, right behind the shrine, there is a chest. And there are other chests in this city. I will also link a video down below where I show you where all of the chests in the city are. But for now, I'll just show you guys this one. And you can usually find gold, silver, and other materials in the chests in the city or on the thralls in the city. But another place to find large amounts of silver is an abandoned silver mine. So from this chest, we're going to want to take this exit and go straight out. This right here is the silver mines, and it's basically a bunch of silver. So all of these silver nodes around here are actual silver. As you can see, you get stone from them, but you also get silver stone. You're also near these scorpions. These are my favorite source of food, all thanks to my friend Drunken Monk 09. So these are pretty easy to kill early on. Don't get them confused with the bigger black ones. Those are really hard to kill. But these are the medium-sized ones. They're an orangish color. And if you use your cleaver, you can get exotic flesh from them. But once you cook the exotic flesh, it turns into roasted haunch. And roasted haunch is great because it regenerates a shit ton of HP and it completely satisfies your hunger. So those aren't all the things you're going to want to gather for building. You're also going to need oil and ichor. And in order to harvest those things, you're going to need to build fish traps and shell traps. I'll take you to where mine is over here. So you can build them, you can build the fish traps here, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'll show you guys where I built mine. So we're just running back. So this is where I have my fish traps and my shellfish traps. The shellfish traps are along the wall and the fish traps are all along the center. So what you're going to want to do is, from these shellfish traps, you really only want the shrimp. The reason you only want shrimp is because they give you the most amount of ichor. Early in the game, if you can't kill the scorpions yet, you can use lobster. It is a really great source of food early on. One way to maximize the amount of shrimp you collect early on is to place one shrimp in every single one of these slots. That way the only shellfish that you will be collecting is shrimp. It is a little bit tedious, but it actually does save you a lot of time because the only thing that you will be collecting is shrimp. You can do the same thing for the fish. So over here, these are the fish traps. And again, the only fish I really like is the small fish. This one called the unappetizing fish, because it gives you the most amount of oil. I'll show you guys up here. This is where I process my fish. So I'll put it in a fluid press. So let's see. So 50 of the savory fish give you 9 oil. 50 of the exotic fish only give you 5 oil. But 50 of the unappetizing fish give you 50 oil. So each one of the unappetizing fish give you an oil, where the other ones give you hardly anything. Same thing with the ichor if you want to make ichor. Lobster gives you hardly any ichor. Crab gives you hardly any ichor. But shrimp give you 1 ichor per shrimp. So again, in order to make ichor, you want to cook the shrimp, and in order to make oil, you want to put the unappetizing fish in the oil press. And oil you use as fuel to burn, and ichor is used to make stone consolidant and a lot of other things. Now the next tip has to do with thralls, but it also has to do with fish traps, bonfires, armors, tables, pretty much anything that you can put materials in or that has a thrall in it. You want to make sure that you enclose all your items like that, and especially your wheels of pain, because if your wheel of pain is open, anyone can come in and steal your thralls, even the taskmaster that is inside your thralls. So like you can see up there, I have the thrall that goes into the station. Those can be stolen once you've put them in. So you want to make sure that everything that has a thrall, like a cook or a carpenter, blacksmith, any thrall, alchemist, you want to make sure that you have them enclosed so that they don't get stolen. This next tip is more of a rule of thumb I like to go by. I like to make sure that before I log off, I always refill all of my crafting stations. So my fireball cauldrons, my furnaces, and these are also really important because tar is really hard to come by. So I'm pretty much always stocked with either fur or hide inside of my tanneries. And I've always got them going, because you need tar for not only metal but for PvP to make explosives. So before I log off, I make sure that all of my crafting stations are actually toggled on crafting and fully stocked, and I make sure that all of my chests, so all of my stockpiles, are also filled up. So I usually keep a crate or a chest or two of something. So before I log off, I'll go like on a harvesting run, and I'll just grind out everything I need to grind out to keep these chests fully stocked. And then I can log off knowing that when I log on in the morning, things will be crafted. So just a little northeast of my fish traps, we have this little bug boss. Where is he? I think that might be him up there. Yeah, that's him up there. So there's this bug boss. So to me, he's one of the easier mob bosses to kill. And when you kill him, you get 3 keys, basically, that will open not just this chest, but all of the different boss chests. So you can open this chest right here, and it'll give you legendary weapons. So this is Bessie's bow, which I'm not too excited to get, but the chest will respawn in 15 minutes and we can get another one. Or we can go to other bosses and open their chest with the keys that we get from this one. I also like to make sure that I've dedicated some time at the end of my game playing session to knock out some thralls and put them in the Wheel of Pain. That way when I log back on, there's a bunch of thralls that have been crafted for me. So here in Separate Mirror, we have a ton of level 3 thralls. Personally, if they're level 1 or level 2, I don't bother with them. They're not worth it. Plus, you don't need to. There's level 3s over here. So level 3s, basically higher level thralls save you materials and they craft faster. If you have a named thrall, which is a level 4 thrall, you'll know it doesn't say the number 4 on it. It'll have a name instead of saying alchemist or instead of saying fighter. It'll actually just have a name like Freya, the Black Fingers, or something like that. But named thralls will create more materials for you. So for example, let's say you're making hide, one of the byproducts is tar. If you have a named thrall, instead of creating 50 tar as a byproduct, it may give you 70 tar as a byproduct. So it's a big deal to get a named thrall. In Super Mario, you do get some named thralls, but for the most part, you have certain level 3 thralls, which you can find. So the thralls that always spawn in as level 3s in Super Mario's are the smelters, the dancers, the blacksmiths, the fighters, the archers, the cooks, the taskmasters, and the tanners. The carpenter and the alchemist are occasionally level 3s, but you can find them there. For the alchemist, there is a level 3 that spawns over in the towers, and I'll show you that right after, and he also always spawns as a level 3. For the ones that don't spawn as level 3s, all you have to do is kill them and wait 15 minutes for them to respawn, then come back and check if they're level 3s or not. Another thrall that spawns here is the set priest. You get the set priest, the high priest, and the occasional arch priest here as well. This is where the set priest spawns. So right across from the priest are these 2 guys. It's a level 3 fighter and a level 3 archer. These guys are always level 3s. Down from here, if you go in where Conan is, you have the level 3 dancers. So right here in this building where we have this greater Wheel of Pain, we find the carpenter, and this is the taskmaster. That's always a level 3. He's always a taskmaster master. And this is where we find the level 3 smelter. So he will always be a level 3 smelter. And this is the level 3 tanner. Turn over to the left and climb up here. We've got this cook that's always a level 3 cook. So here at the entrance of the city, coming down this way, we'll find the blacksmith, the smelter, and the armor. The blacksmith is pretty much always a level 3 thrall. These will eventually spawn a level 3 thrall. So this is where you find these guys. This is exactly the area I took you guys to grab the resin from the trees. So from here, we're just going to be running along the right side of this river on the map. As you can see, there are towers right in front of us, so we're going to run towards those towers. So make a right once you see this. So from that altar, we're going to go over there where you see these people sitting down, where the bearer is. And this guy right here is a level 3 alchemist. He's always going to be a level 3 alchemist. Now let's go back to the head of the lake. So this is the head of the lake. You're probably going to want to build a Wheel of Pain here as well, just to save you some time. So the reason Supermeru is such a great place to gather thralls is not only because you get a lot of level 3 thralls here, but the thralls are also peaceful. So only the ones that see you fighting are going to attack you. All of the other ones will leave you peaceful. And it's only the ones that see you start fighting. So let's say you're fighting a thrall and another thrall walks by while you're fighting. He's not going to join in on the fight unless he was there when you initiated the fight. So this is a good tip I like to go by. Let's say you want to get this level 3 blacksmith. You're going to want to kill these two beforehand. So lead them away and kill them. Make sure you're attacking them when you're far away from the blacksmith so that you don't accidentally kill him. That way when it comes to you knocking out the blacksmith, these two are no longer there, so they're not going to bother you and they're not going to kill you while you're trying to knock this one out. Or you could just lead him away alone. Make sure that you're away from other thralls when you knock him out. That way it's a lot easier for you to do. Another tip for fighting NPCs is to let your heavy attack charge while they run towards you. So run away from them a little bit. Make sure that you haven't wasted too much stamina. And let your attack charge while they run towards you. That way they don't get a chance to hit you before you actually hit them. So now you're building up and you're actually a force to be reckoned with, but you're nothing if you can't defend yourself from an offline purge. And in the beginning, this is one of the things that really set me back, is not being prepared for being purged when you're offline. So basically a purge is when a bunch of monsters, depending on what area you're in, come and attack your base, and if you are not there and they manage to destroy your base, all of the items that are destroyed will despawn, including whatever you have in chests, or players wandering around can find your items and take them. So the easiest thing you can do early on to protect yourself from a purge is to surround your base with palisades, because any mob attacking your base is going to get damage from the palisades. You're also going to want to strategically place archers along the roof of your base. That way any mobs that come and attack you can be fended off by archers. So this is another tip that I cannot stress enough. I mentioned it in my first video. You want to make sure that you're not keeping all of your valuables in your base. So make sure that you have secret chests hidden around the map. More importantly, you want to make sure that you build a vault as soon as possible. It takes around 150 explosives to destroy a vault. I know that gods can knock it down a lot faster, but it's definitely, you know, a lot stronger than a chest would be. So you want to make sure that you stop living out of your chest and get a vault as soon as possible. You can also have hidden vaults. So find an area that's a little bit harder to reach and put an extra vault there. Make sure that you check up on it frequently. But it definitely helps to not have all of your valuables stored at home. That way if you do get hit, it won't take you so long to rebuild. Finally, if you do log on and you notice some of your stuff have been destroyed, there is a way to know exactly who did it. All you have to do is go into the main menu, click on the event log, and right there it'll tell you exactly what was destroyed. So in my event log it says Black Ice Reinforced Wooden Foundation, and it says Frost Giant. So if it has anything like a Frost Giant, a Mammoth, a Saber-Tooth Tiger, any NPC name, that means that you were hit by a purge. If it has an actual player's name on there, then that means that player raided you. So we've reached the end of the video, and I know you guys are probably thinking, screw the tips, Brandy, we just want to see more of you, and it's completely normal to be overwhelmed by this feeling, so I went ahead and listed a few of my videos down below for you guys that you guys can check out. And if this isn't enough for you, you guys can join me on my live streams. I stream live Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I stream live on Saturdays on Twitch from, again, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. More excitingly than that, though, I do have a private Conan server for PS4, and if you want to join me on the server, you guys can join me on my Twitch channel. So on my Twitch streams, you get loyalty points for every minute that you watch the stream, and you can trade them in for cool things like a follow back on Snapchat or even a chance to play on stream with us. So you can also trade those points in to join the Conan server. So I'll see you guys on my live streams, and I hope you guys have a great time. I'll see you later, B-Nips.
More next
the
night
entire audience pooed vigorously.
As you can see by this picture here, you can see Brandy aggressively going in and trying to eat their poo.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not Brandy, that's Joseph. My mistake. He's wearing a wig and some of her undergarments that it appears he has stolen from her hotel room.
Oh, that Joseph, always trying to look as good as Brandy. Isn't he a swell guy?
If only he could just come to the terms.
We clearly all know it's fake poo, though, because he wouldn't actually eat real poo. Come on, that's Joe. He's a god.
Actually, if the stories that surround him and his strange behavior in his youth are correct, he does have a history of eating poo.
He is a god. Women love him. He's a god.
They do love me.
No. Oh wait, you're talking for me.
No.
Thanks.
No. They love me.